Today on the pod, we've got a baby brand. Yes, a business that sells baby clothes. And this is a business that is going like gangbusters. They have doubled in the last year and they're just about to pass that magical £1 million marker. They're on the podcast because they want to talk, one, growth, but how do they do that? By leveraging paid media and all the other marketing things they're already doing, but to ensure they don't alienate their existing very loyal customer base while attracting many more new customers. This is going to be a fantastic conversation. Let's get into it. Welcome to Grow with Evergreen, the podcast designed to help you grow your business by providing practical insights into all things paid media, creative, and digital strategy. Every episode, we help home, garden, and lifestyle brands with their growth challenges by delving into their business, dissecting what they're doing, and defining a digital growth strategy they can take and deploy into their business. Let's get into it. Right, welcome back, beautiful people. Hope you're all doing well. Today is going to be good fun. This is going to be a great episode. We've got a business called Cozy Crew Club, which is one of the coolest names we've had on the podcast. They are a baby brand. They sell baby clothes, organic cotton blankets, and a plethora of other products. You can check them out at cozycrewclub.com. They're a business that we just spoke before, and he said he's very excited. Our guest today is Connor, because he said the business is just about to pass that £1 million marker. And for all of us in business, that is an incredible milestone. So big plaudits to Connor. We almost need to put a little celebration clap thing in the edit of this, don't we, when I say that?
Yeah,
Can
hold
we
on.
do that?
Yeah,
here he is. Hey! There you go. I love it. Right, there we go. So, yes, what else can I tell you about this brand? Based up in Manchester. They do I do quite a lot of personalization with their products as well, which is fantastic. I love the fact they do that. And this was a business, I think Connor said, born out of, did he say COVID, or it was a few years ago when he sort of started, and then as a bit of a side hustle, and then it's just sort of grown and has now doubled in a year, which is amazing. And I said to him before we started recording, I said, well, how have you doubled? You know, to go from 500,000 to $1 million is some quantum leap. And he said it was around, expanding the product lines, and we're going to drill a little bit deeper into that and get a little bit more insight into exactly how they've done it. Got about a dozen team members. The biggest marketing challenges they've got is scaling. They want to grow, it's very ambitious to grow, but they want to make sure they do it while maintaining that core audience. And I think that is incredibly important because you're going to have a very loyal customer base. So maintaining that while also attracting new customers is something we're going to get into. Then social media, challenges around that. So again, we'll delve into that. And then just more kind of globally looking at digital marketing and looking at their wider marketing activities and how the online stuff feeds into the offline stuff and vice versa. So it's going to be quite a mixed and varied conversation, this one, I think. We've got, they do all of their marketing in-house, so nothing is outsourced. They're doing all of their paid media, their marketing with their in-house resource, and they're spending ever increasing amounts on paid media. So I think they're spending over 20k a month now on ads. So, a brand that is growing, and I'm going to be interested, one of the key things I'm going to want to find out is, as ever, their reliance on paid media, because I think what we typically see is an over-reliance on paid media to facilitate their growth, which is no bad thing, so long as there's a plan and an awareness of that happening and a thought to the future of how we're going to dilute that down and how we're going to look at building up those other sides of the business. Big plans. He wants this business to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, baby brand in the UK. I love that ambition. And then he's got a few key questions he wants to ask me around paid media and other bits and bobs, which we're going to get into. So I think this is going to be interesting for a few reasons. One, it's a brand that's obviously going places, that's doing some really good things, which I love. And also fits very squarely as a lifestyle brand in terms of their relevance to be on the Grow with Evergreen pod, because every episode it's a home, a garden, or a lifestyle brand, and this is so incredibly lifestyle. But also I think for this one, what's interesting is they do all of their marketing in-house. And we know, because some of our clients have in-house marketers, that when you're an in-house marketer, you're in your world, you're in your bubble, and actually you don't get the benefit from that we do being on an agency side, where we can look at lots of clients' data, we can look at we can see trends and spot things and have the benefit of being able to look at a myriad of different accounts at different sizes and different types and so on. So quite looking forward to the questions that Connor is going to ask me around what we're doing, what we're seeing, and what and how that feeds into what they're doing and what they're seeing. It's going to be interesting. So we'll be bringing him on. That's the lay of the land. But of course, before we go any further,
we can't forget about
become one of my favourite parts of the pod.
Oh my God, yes.
Paid Media Mysteries. Do you want to kick us off?
Yes,
I love that. I can't help but do my little dance. For all of your YouTube videos, you're welcome. For everyone on Spotify and Apple Pods and wherever else, you're missing a trick. My little dad dance, little groove. Although I do exactly the same thing every time. I need to mix it up.
Mix it up, yeah. Keep them guessing.
I do. I need to. Yes. Come on, hit me with it. Let's do it.
So today I thought I'd go into my territory a little bit. And we're talking about meta ads.
Okay.
Specifically video.
Okay.
So my question to you today,
go for it,
is what is the ideal length for a meta video ad to maximize engagement?
Okay. The ideal length of video to maximize engagement.
Yes.
Blimey.
I'll give you a hint.
Go on,
it's what we aim for.
What is that? Okay. I'm going to say it's...
Of course, this will prove your trust in me if you don't know this.
Yeah, that's true. There's two numbers that spring to mind, but I'm going to go with where my gut.
Okay.
Is it 15 seconds?
It is 15
Yes.
seconds. Yay.
I was either going to go 15 or 12.
Well, so they do actually say 15 or less.
Okay.
But 15 is usually
that's what we go for, isn't it?
It is.
We aim for 15 seconds.
We aim for 15 seconds. But sometimes we do go a little bit less.
Yeah, we do talk about 12 to 15.
We don't tend to go much higher than 15. Occasionally we'll go a bit longer if we think it's really going to matter.
Yeah.
But 15 is what we aim for.
Yeah. There you go. See, we're exactly on into what that's from Meta. Where did you get that from? Is that from
Meta? Yeah, Meta Creative Best Practices.
There you go.
That's my source.
15. There you go. 15 seconds. If you're doing your ads longer than that, try split testing it and do a shorter version.
Yeah.
12 to 15 is most of ours, isn't it?
Yeah, and we always do. This is just a little bit extra tip. Is we always do a square one and a portrait one.
Yes, we do. And what are the sizes?
1080 by 1080 for square and 1080 by 1920 for portrait.
Yes, it's just a pod. It just keeps on giving. There you go. There you go. Hopefully Connor knows those sizes, or at least I think this is one of his team. I forget. He said her name. But hopefully she'll know that as well. I'm sure. Right, so Cozy Crew Club. Let's get into this. Bring him on. Let's do it. Connor, are you there, my friend?
Hi, Aaron. Hi, Darren. How are you guys keeping? You okay?
We are very, very good. Yes, thank you so much for jumping on. Looking forward to this one. Do you want to just give us a little 30 seconds? Who are you, the business, a little bit of the sort of story of how it came to be? Over to you.
Yeah, sure, no problem. So my name is Connor Jafari, and I'm the founder of Cozy Crew Club. So we are a baby lifestyle brand, and we're built around the idea of creating comfort and cozy connections for babies and for families. So basically our journey started with a really simple mission, which was to bring the magic of coziness into every home or every baby's life through our high quality products. So we do everything from baby essentials like rompers, which are made of organic cotton and bamboo, to blankets with personalization. And we also like to introduce a bit of sustainability as well to make sure our products are giving back to the environment and the planet as well. But we're not just a brand, we're also a community, which hence the name Cozy Crew Club. So we like to make our customers feel part of the brand and that they're valued and then they're part of this special journey that we're on for their babies and creating comfortable moments for them. Mm-hmm. So we're here to make life a lot easier and a little bit softer and also a little bit cozier.
Love that. That's really lovely. That's a lovely way to position the brand. So I love that. On the community thing then, give me something. Yep. What are you doing to build that community? What does that look like?
So recently we just started our search for a new ambassador. So last month we held an event in store in London and we invited kind of our community online to come down to the store to meet us, to check out our new collection, but at the same time get their photo taken in the hopes of becoming a new ambassador for Cozy Crew Club. So the turnout we had for that was fantastic, and it was the first time we've kind of done a community event where we've invited people online to come and meet us in store. So it was really rewarding. And we had some people show up in kind of in the Cozy Crew Club attire, which was great. So
Nice.
we're just trying to create more events and do more to kind of meet our community, whether that's, like a mum stroll walk, or, kind of doing ambassador searches just to kind of create them touch points.
Yep. Nice. I like it. It's good. It's very good. Okay, amazing. Right. So, and just when did you first start this? How long ago was this?
So we started in 2020. So basically, I started this up as a side hustle just before COVID. So I was full time working in marketing, and COVID obviously came around, and I was put onto furlough. So during COVID lockdown for 2 years, I kind of put my heart and soul into this brand. And coming out of COVID, my employer asked me, would like to have you back full time, and I kind of politely declined and went full time with Cozy Crew Club in 2022. And over the last 2 years, we've kind of grown dramatically, which has been great. So putting my heart and effort into it has really paid off and been really rewarding. So it was actually born out of COVID. So it was a blessing, really.
There you go. I love that. Well, as I said in the previous chat, I'm going to echo the same sentiment. Well done you for getting this business up to £1 million. That is an incredible feat. So yeah, massively impressed. That's amazing, mate. So well done you. Absolutely love it. So, right. And so actually, that's where you are now. You've doubled the business in a year. Where do you want to get this business to? Do you have a good idea of like in 5 years what this business is going to look and feel like?
Yes. So within 5 years, I'd obviously like to reach to an 8-figure kind of turnover, which would be fantastic. And we've also got internationalization on the plan as well. So we'd like to slowly expand into Europe and hopefully the USA, as well as expanding our product range to not just cater to just babies and children, but also to mums at the same time. So the journey looks really exciting over the next 5 years, and we've got a lot of things in the pipeline that are going to help us grow.
I love that. And at the minute then, is it just UK?
Correct. Yeah. So currently at the moment, we just focus on the UK with paid ads. But outside of the UK, we are getting a lot of organic orders, which is fantastic in Europe and kind of in the USA. And we do partner sometimes with a few influencers outside of the UK, which has also been quite rewarding. So we are getting a lot of feedback and good positivity from countries outside of the UK. But currently, we're just focusing on paid ads in the UK and want to become really strong, like market leader in the UK before we expand anywhere else.
Gotcha. And the influencer stuff, how big are you on that? How much are you doing that?
So influencers is huge for us. So that's kind of what got us started in the first place. So I remember when I first started in 2020, I would inbox every single influencer who I could get my hands on. And what I would do is I'd send them a message and then I would copy it, unsend it an hour later, and then keep resending it every hour. So we'd be at the top of their inbox.
Wow. Okay. Fair enough.
And eventually it worked for us and we got a really big one with Pitch. So yeah, influencers is a really big part of our strategy. We send out PR or gifts to influencers maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and we're always following who's pregnant and who's trending currently in the mum kind of category, and we're always making sure we're sending them products and making them feel supported through their journey of motherhood. So it's a staple part of our marketing efforts.
I love that. And you're doing all of that, the managing that in-house?
Yeah, all done in-house. Yeah, so I used to manage it myself,
right.
And as we've grown, I've got a girl now who kindly manages all the kind of influencer contacts and who we need to send to and who we're missing out on, etc.
I see. Okay, I love that. Yeah, that's good. So influence is a key part of it. Proportionally, then, what does let's look at the paid side. So what does that look like? So you're doing 20K a month now. How much does seasonality affect what you do? Obviously now, right as we're recording this, we're now in midst of Black Friday and peak. So what does that look like across the year?
Yes, so I'd say it's about 20,000 per month off peak. And then obviously during November time, we're about to ramp that up and probably double that to 40.
Okay.
Just because traffic gets a lot more competitive and stuff, and we really want to reach people during that time. So we're just starting to ramp that up next week when we launch for Black Friday.
Gotcha. Okay. And of all the lines you sell, of all the products, what are the sort of the key things? What are the things you're known for as a brand, the go-to products?
So our go-to products are our bear blankets. So I don't know if you've noticed, but bears are central to our kind of design. Yeah. So everything that's got a bear on is kind of our best sellers. But I say our blankets are our most popular, and our pajamas as well for nightwear.
Okay, fine. Okay, so they're the two sort of lead categories, are they? Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, interesting. Is there a reason why on the website you don't lead with them on they're on the second run of products listings on the website? Is there any reason for that?
we've got quite a few new ranges at the moment, so we're trying to push
Right.
these kind of new ranges to let our customers know that we're not just known for blankets, and also for our pajamas, we've got a whole other lot more categories as well.
Okay, and you said that's been one of the big changes you've made in recent months is expanding the range, yeah?
Correct, yes. So we just
Okay.
launched our new matching mum and mini tracksuit collection, which is fantastic. So we're kind of expanding into that women's wear, testing it a little bit and seeing if it's kind of working for us. So yeah, we're kind of exploring into new categories.
Nice. Okay, I love this. Okay, all right, good stuff. So just talk to me about the paid. So what you're putting 20. So over the last year,
Yep.
would you say you've spent on ads in the last year to date? Your business year starts in sort of December, end of the year. So what would you say you've spent this year?
I'd say we probably spent about 240,000, I'd say in total. Yeah.
And what have you got back?
So we'll
Attributed.
probably our turnover this year will be 1 million, which is great.
And in terms of, do you know you put 240 in? What have you got back out attributed? Do you know?
Yeah, so we're probably average on like a 4 return on ad spend. I would say between 4 and 5.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And are you running? So what sort of campaigns are you running? Performance Max, shopping, brand? What are you doing?
Yes, so kind of on Meta, we're doing broad. So we do a lot of broad targeting, which seems to work best for us. So we kind of focus on broad for our top of funnel, and then we kind of hone in a lot more on middle and bottom funnel with our kind of dynamic ads. And on Google, we're doing a lot of Performance Max, and we've introduced as well this year.
Okay. What's the split then of what you're doing on Meta versus Google?
So I would say 70% is spend is done on Meta and 30% on Google, I would say. A lot of our target audience tend to sit on Facebook, a lot of mums,
Yeah.
mum groups, etc. So we kind of spend a lot of money on Meta, and that drifts into Instagram as well. Those two key platforms are really important for us because that's where the mums are spending a lot of time. Obviously, Google is also really important to us in terms of keywords and brand searches. But yeah, I think Meta we tend to lead with that a lot more.
Okay, interesting. And you're getting that kind of 4 times return. That's what's being attributed in across. Is it consistent Meta and Google? Is there one better than the other?
Yes, so Google actually does have a better return on ad spend. So I'd say it's around about an 8 for Google, and we sit on like a kind of a 3 on Facebook and Meta. So it kind of averages out to like a 4 in the middle.
Okay, right. I'm with you. Okay. So it begs the obvious question: why are you not doing more on Google?
Yeah, that is true, actually. Yeah, we should be doing a lot more on Google. I think one of the things, it seems to be very competitive, I feel like. So the baby industry is quite saturated. So it's
That's
trying
true.
to,
That's true on Meta as well, though.
yeah, that is true. It's trying to find the right strike, I guess, and the right balance. But it's definitely something we should definitely look into. I think we could
Do
be
you know?
performing a lot stronger on Google.
It doesn't surprise me that you're seeing better returns on Google than Meta, and I'll tell you why. Because with Google, you've got search intent, right? People are actively looking. Whereas on Meta, it's essentially interruption marketing. Now, you're going out, you're obviously, it makes sense how you've structured your campaign, broad and stuff like that. You're going out to everyone. It's interruption marketing. So they're not looking, but then they see what sort of ads are you running? Are you running videos, still graphics, product? What are you doing
Yes, so we
on
do a
Meta?
mixture. So a lot of flat lays work really well for us on Meta. So we kind of do like a shop the look. So we do flat lays of the products and how they would be styled. So with a matching beanie, with the matching socks. So they tend to work really well in carousels for us.
Yep.
And we've tested a lot with video, but video doesn't seem to have a good return on ad spend for us for some reason on Meta. So it's kind of the visualization of picturing the outfit pieced together and the different items in a flat lay and shop the look tends to be really working well for us.
That makes sense from a broad perspective. I'd be using video more middle and bottom of funnel because
Yes.
when you're video, video will work, but you're going to have to put the key message in those first 3 seconds for video, which for a cold audience, difficult to do. Whereas for a warm, audience, video is going to make a lot of sense because you're going to be able to, they've already seen the product, they've already seen the brand, and they're, I want to know a little bit more. I'm curious. I want to see a little bit more. What else can you tell me? So I think video makes sense to sit not at the top funnel, but more at the middle of the funnel. But I think I want to go back to for me, Meta, we've got a whole portfolio of clients. There's not a single one of them that is spending more on Meta or there's maybe one actually, one example, one exception to the rule. But for the most part, most of our clients will spend more on Google than they will on Meta for the simple reason there's search intent with Google. People are actively looking, and then we want to be using Meta to retarget, to re-engage, to stay top of mind, to visually tell the story, get the product across. It's a more visual platform, more creative platform. But Google is, if you're not spending that much, so if you're spending 20K, so what are you spending on average month on Google? Like what, 5K?
Yeah, about 5K, yeah.
Okay. And you're getting about an 8 times return on that.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, dial it up. Like what? Yeah. What are you spending? So you're running Performance Max, shopping. How do you know what you're running at the minute in terms of the number of campaigns and how they're split? And are you doing feed only or asset led? What are you doing? Do you know that?
No, I don't know in depth, but I know that we're doing Performance Max and we're definitely doing shopping.
Okay.
At the current time.
You must be running a search brand campaign as well, right?
Yes, search brand.
Fine.
Yeah.
Fine. Do you know if within the Performance Max campaign you are split testing feed only versus asset led?
No, we're currently not doing that at the moment. No.
You're not. So what are you running? Are you just running an asset led campaign?
Yes.
Okay, definitely split that out and run it as feed only. Do you understand the premise of what I'm talking about with feed only? So Performance Max campaign, you can have one or multiple asset groups. You can run one asset group where you feed in all your headlines, all your images, you give it everything to play with and give Google autonomy to say, hey, go and get me conversions, get me sales. What you can also do is strip that bare so you only give it the feed and say, right, I'm going to pull everything else away, just run a feed. So it's essentially Performance Max mimicking shopping. And for you, I would imagine if you were to run a script on your data, I would imagine most of your Performance Max sales will be attributed to the shopping network. Have you ever run a script on it? Do you know that?
No.
Right. Then you need to be pulling that data off. I would imagine that I would hazard a very strong guess that most of your sales will come from the shopping network. Running feed only, you'd probably get an even better return if you did that. I don't know if you can pull it up and have a look at it, but do you know how shopping compares to Performance Max in terms of return?
So looking at it now, I would say PMax probably sits at like a 7 return on ad spend. Our branded search is a 15. And then our shopping is kind of a 3.
What time period are you looking at?
This is October for last month.
Okay, so open that up a little bit more. Just go do the last year to date or something. I just want to get a flavour of. And have you been running shopping and Performance Max the whole time?
Yes, we started it this year. Yeah.
Okay, so you've been running shopping. So shopping's just okay, but you've been running both of those you haven't just turned on shopping or just turned on Performance Max, no?
Correct. No, we've been using them for quite a while.
Okay, so just give us an idea of if you do year to date, just so we get a decent window. I just want to get a sense of a decent window of time. So if we look at a decent window, what have you spent and what's been the return on if we look at Performance Max and then shopping and return?
Sure. 1 second.
Sure, yeah. This will be good because I've got a few ideas, but I just want to see if the data is telling me what I think it will.
So for Google, this is from January to end of October this year.
Yeah, perfect.
It's just pulling it through now.
Sure. Because I think that's going to be, it's going to be very interesting, this.
So overall, the return on ad spend for Google for the last, for this year so far, 7.5.
Yep. 7.5. Cool.
And
That's good. What have you spent overall?
Overall spend is 41,000.
41K. Okay. All right. Good stuff. So what's the breakdown of that on Performance Max, on shopping, on search?
On paid or on return on ad spend?
Both.
Okay, so we probably spent the most on PMax, coming in at 22,000 at a 7.7 return on ad spend.
7.7, and then shopping.
And then shopping, I think this falls under 6,000. 6,000, I think, spend at 2.57 return on ad spend.
Okay, something's off there. And then your search is, what have you spent on search? You're gonna say
2,000.
Yeah, and you've made back what? That's going to about
3.3.
3.3 for are you running anything out of brand?
Oh, sorry, no, apologies. That's seasonal search. Branded search is 14.2 return on ad spend.
Right. Okay. 40. Yeah, I was going to say that should be. Yeah, fine. Okay. So you've spent. Yeah. So you haven't spent enough on shopping. I'd be interested to see when you started shopping because now you probably would have seen in recent weeks an uplift in shopping because it's now in terms of which ranks better. It's now down to ad rank, whereas before Performance Max dominated it. Just do me one favor, and then we'll move away from your ad account. But can you
Sure.
go into your Performance Max? Is it one Performance Max campaign you're running or multiple?
We have two. So we have one for bear clothing. So people are, looking for kind of bear clothing, and then we have
Yep.
gift sets as well as a second one.
Okay, amazing. Can you? Which is there a dominant one of those two that you spent more in?
The bear clothing.
Right. So just go into that
Yep.
and then click in asset groups. How many asset groups have you got going?
1 second. I'm just in Triple Well. You see, I'm not actually in Google.
Oh, okay, fine.
It's just loading now.
Yeah. This will be interesting. Let's have a little. Yeah, this is going to be very interesting. But yeah, I definitely think spending more on Google is going to be a no-brainer.
Okay, it's not letting me drill it down on
Is it
Triple
not?
Whale.
Don't worry. But I think that's something for you to check. Is just
Definitely, yeah.
have a look at the asset groups. What are you running? And what's the young lady in your team that runs the? You said she does the all the
Sophia.
Google ads. Sophia, right? Okay, amazing. So I would get Sophia to have a look at the Performance Max. Are you running asset led? And if you are, just strip out all the assets. Run it as essentially it's called feed only. And run that as a split test to see. I think you might be surprised if you give it, some legs, give it some time and some budget. I think you might be surprised. But yeah, it begs the question: if you're getting a 7.5, 8 times return, is there a reason you haven't spent more? Have you just not realised, or because that's seemingly money on the table?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's definitely something we need to look at and increase. I feel like what you said before is quite accurate. Like when you kind of work on your own, kind of with in-house, you're not seeing what others are spending and mirroring, what other brands are doing. So I feel like we kind of are losing out here quite significantly. So we need to definitely look at increasing our spend on Google for sure.
Yeah, I think, and what you could do with Performance Max is you could pull off some scripts and you would be able to get some really good insights into the data. Of course, with shopping as well, you could get your search term data, so that would be super useful, info for you to glean. Now, one thing I think is really important for you, and if we were working together, if this was my business, what I would definitely be understanding is how reliant this brand is on like what's your reliance per pillar of marketing. I don't know if you've ever heard me on any other pods that we've done that you've listened to where I talk about the backbone of digital marketing. This is a principle that I came up with years ago, and this essentially it's like doing a SWOT analysis for your business. And so whether you use GA4 or Triple Whale, as you mentioned, what you want to understand is overall that £1 million you've made, how reliant are you on each type of marketing? So we group all of paid ads together. You want to look at how much of your revenue is coming off from organic, and how much is coming from the traffic you're nurturing through your socials and your email, and how much is coming through direct is being attributed to direct traffic. Before we go any further, are you enjoying today's episode? If so, you'll love our other show, Tea Talks. They're short, informal chats where the evergreen experts and I share actionable nuggets on all things paid media, creative and digital strategy that we use daily when growing our clients' businesses. And best of all, much like this podcast, it's completely free. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, see the link in the description. Now, let's get back to it. Right, so one thing I want to talk about is, I don't know if you've ever heard me talk about the backbone of digital marketing before. Do you know what that is? Yeah. So that is a principle that is a very simple, it's like doing a SWOT analysis for your business. And it's about understanding how reliant the brand is on the traffic that you're buying. So that's all your ads. Then the traffic that you own. So that's your direct traffic. The traffic that you're nurturing. So your email, your social, your referrer. And then the traffic that you earn, which is your organic. So it's like doing SWOT analysis. Have you, whether it's GA4 or Triple Whale, as you mentioned, have you ever... Do you know that £1 million, how much is attributed to, say, paid channels and organic channels? Do you know that or not?
I'd say probably about a quarter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is what attributed to paid?
Paid, yeah.
Okay. Well, let's just run the sums on that. So if you've done, let's have a look. So you've done, how much have we spent on ads?
250.
You've spent 250 on ads. No, that doesn't stack up. Because hold on. So if you've spent 250 on ads, yeah?
Yeah.
In the last year.
Since November last year, yeah.
Okay, hold on. So, but if we've spent 250 on ads and we've turned 1 million and we're getting a 3 to 4 times return, that would mean we're getting no traffic from anywhere else because that would make the million.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying? So this is why this is a super useful exercise because do you have GA4 set up or do you just use Triple Whale?
Just use Triple Whale for dashboard.
Fine. Okay. So again, an exercise you're going to want to do is to look at your data for the last year and understand how reliant or what the data is telling you in terms of your paid reliance. Because I would assume based on your level of spend, your level of spend compared to your turnover, if that is accurate based on what you've told me, feels high because essentially you've spent 25% of your turnover on ads.
Yeah.
Does that feel about right?
Yeah.
That feels very high. So are you not getting any traffic outside of paid channels? Are you getting much organic traffic, much direct traffic from socials, stuff like that? I would have thought you would be with your...
from email and from organic and socials, yeah.
But then something doesn't add up. Something doesn't add up to me on that. Because if that's right, either your paid is not converting anything, or Meta is not converting anything like as well as you think it is, or you've got incorrect tracking, or people from your email and your social are never buying. So are you tracking all of that? Do you see where I'm going with this? I'm trying to get a sense of the brand and the performance. And this is why this is super important to do, because what you want to know is you want to be able to look at the business and go, right, we've done 1 million. That's amazing. But now what we need to understand is what's driven that million. So of all the stuff you're putting into Meta, because the thing you've got to remember, Connor, with this is Meta, Google, they all will take the credit, quote unquote, for the sale. And they'll all, because it's all data driven now, they're all like walled gardens. So they're all love to over report. So Meta will inflate what the return it's actually providing for you. Google will do the same.
Correct.
Right? So because of that, you need to make sure that you're not over investing in that and you need to then understand what, email, right? And then with your influencers, all the activity you're doing, what actual return is it providing? Do you have any way of breaking that down on your side right now?
Not in front of me now, not currently. I'm trying to find something on the Triple Whale dashboard for it, but I can't.
Yeah, no, but that's something. That's a bit of homework for you to do. I think for me, because that for me, this is the whole point of why I do it. Whenever I'm talking to a prospect, this is the first thing I do is I say, right, what's your turnover? Okay, we've done 1 million, great. What was your total ad spend? And in your case, you've said essentially $250,000, right?
Yes.
Right now, how confident are you it's $250,000?
Very confident. I've got it in front of me here. Yeah.
Okay, so you can see across those two, but it's 70% Meta, 30%. My gut is telling me Meta's not converting anything well as you think it is. I might be wrong, but that's what my gut's telling me. And Google probably a bit of the same as well. Because if you've spent a $250,000 on ads and your revenue, just see if you just run the math on it. If you spent $250,000 on ads and you've turned over 1 million, and you think that you've on average got a 4 times return, $250,000 times 4, there's our million. That gives no room for any sales to be attributed to organic, to email, to influencers. So something can't be right there.
Definitely, yeah.
So go on, yeah.
So I'd probably say we've got, if I'm drilling down on the Triple Whale data that I've got in front of me, so the Facebook for the last year, from November last year to November this year, sits on a 3 return on ad spend.
Right.
And Google a 7.92.
Yeah. So do you see the problem you've got here? And Meta, I can guarantee you, is over reporting because, and the way to check that, in your Meta account, if you look at it, it will be reporting on a 7-day view, 1-day click.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's over reporting. So it's reporting a 3. Right? How much of your spend is going into the broad audience? Do you know? Well, again, that's something you're gonna have to break down after the pod. But I would be breaking down how much of that budget, exactly how much budget have you spent on Meta in the last 12 months? I would be looking at that and I'd be going, how much of it went into a broad audience and what was the return? How much went into a middle of funnel audience? What was the return? And then a bottom of funnel and a return. look at your marketing steps, and that will be an eye-opening exercise to be able to see, because I think the actual return is going to be way lower than you think it's going to be.
Yes.
And I've seen this with other brands that we've had on the pod, actually, in episodes that, as at the time of recording, haven't even come out yet. And I've had exactly this conversation with them where they got so used to doing Meta because it felt like you're getting lots of engagement. It feels like it's doing really, really well. But because, people they're loving it, they're interacting. They go, oh, this is beautiful stuff, but they're not buying. And if money's not going in the till, then you've got a problem. And for me, if you've spent 70% of, that budget of $250,000, that's a serious wedge of cash that has gone into ads. If it's not converting, if you're only doubling your money on it, getting a 2 times return on it, that would make more sense when we then look at the other channels. That would make more sense.
Yes.
But that means that you need to be reining in Meta. I would be looking potentially, you still need to be doing broad, the top of funnel, the middle of funnel, but you might want to I would definitely put those things under a microphone, under the looking glass, and have a closer. Microscope's what I'm looking for. But have a closer look at that, because I think you might be surprised, because the numbers simply do not stack up based on what you've said.
Yes.
You cannot be getting as good a return as you think you're getting with paid media, because if you were, then when we factor in, what do you think what does Triple Whale tell you the revenue was from email? Or from, organic? What does it tell you? Does it give you that breakdown? Can you see that?
It's about 90,000 from email.
Okay, well, let's look at this. Hold on, let's work it out, right? This is good, because this is what I want to help you with. Is I want to be able to, you come away from this pod going, okay, wow, I've really now realised. And we might just come to the same conclusion we had with another guest on very recently, and it's massively helped them, and they've been able to go, oh my God, I've got a view into my business I just didn't have.
Yeah.
So 90K has come from email. Is this in the last, this is year to date, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Right, what else is it giving you breakdown-wise?
279 from Facebook.
Okay, hold on. Right, Facebook, 279. Okay, yep.
322 from Google.
322. Okay, hold on. Right. Okay, yeah.
And then 45 from TikTok.
Okay, yeah.
And then all the rest is organic or miscellaneous.
And what is that in terms of organic and miscellaneous? But what is the revenue on that?
So it is...
Even roughly, just give us a rough sort of...
It's about 300,000.
300. Okay, all right, good. Okay. And that direct is going to be in that miscellaneous, the way Triple A reports it. Fine. Okay, so because now, so we've spent, so hold on, right, 1 second, I just need to work something out. Right, this is what this pod's about, is about me able to look at your data and give you some insights into this stuff. So hold on, right, so we have spent, so if your numbers are accurate in terms of your spend, you said we spent about 250, was it 250 or 240?
250.
250, so you've spent 250 on ads year to date.
Yes.
Right, and 70% of that was on Meta.
Yeah.
Therefore, that is 175. So the numbers is being reported to you that you've spent 175K on Meta, right?
Yep.
And it's returned you 279.
Correct, yeah.
So it's about, what is that in terms of return? It's barely above 1.5 return.
Yep.
That's not very good, is it? It's not what we need.
No.
Right? This is a problem. Now, what did we spend? So now, if we look at the remainder from that 250, let's have a look. So that is 75. So now, and this is just Triple Whales reported. And again, you'd want to check that had the accuracy of the conversion tracking and all of that good stuff, because there's going to be a portion of the organic and the MISC that is going to be, with direct in there, it's going to be unattributed, where it's going to act as a bit of a default. So we've spent 75 on... so we spent 75 on Google of the 250. That's the 30%. So that's 75K. And that has returned you 322 reported, which means that is at a roughly 4.5. It's not quite that, but it's not far off. So your data, Triple Whale is telling you from an attribution perspective that Facebook, which is where you're putting three times as much revenue in, is at 1.5 return, and the Google is at 4.5 return. And you see, and that your triple whale backs up exactly what I said 5 minutes ago about both of these platforms will love to over-report.
Yes.
They're both doing it, but when you remove that, triple whale is actually going, no, hold on. Google's giving you a 4.5, which I'm sure your business margin allows a 4.5 return.
Yeah.
I bet 1.5. I bet Meta's 1.5 doesn't.
No.
There you go. You need to sort that out. So that, so actually you need to rein in what you're spending on Meta. Now, what I'd be doing with Facebook, Instagram, so Meta, look at the percentage of spend for top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, and then work out where you're getting the best return and then grade the spend accordingly. But either way, you need to I would be flipping this at least the other way in terms of Google to Meta.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because you're getting, because that then, if we look at that, you've got 300 miscellaneous, which is going to be a combination of direct, organic, stuff like that. And there's going to be there will be some Meta sales in there unattributed. There will be some Google sales unattributed, but it is what it is in terms of from a reporting standpoint. But that way you've got there I can see you've got 300 organic and everything else, just over 300 Google. There's your 6. Just shy of another 300 from Facebook. There's your 9 plus email and TikTok. There's your 1 million. All right. Yeah. But you see, so you're paying right now. Yeah. You need to massively rein in Meta and then massively dial up Google.
I agree.
Yeah. And then you've got obviously your email. Amazing. You can keep driving that. That's going to be beautiful. And then your organic and so on. So if you take nothing else away from the pod, my friend, you absolutely need to be flipping that on its head.
Agreed.
Oof. Okay, that's good. Has that been helpful? Is that even Super. That? We haven't even got any.
Yeah.
That I was not expecting us to go and start crunching those numbers, but when you said the numbers, I was like, my sixth sense was going nuts, and I was like, something's off here.
No, it's super insightful, especially obviously Google's got a much better return on ad spend, and it's ridiculous that we're spending 3 times the amount on Meta when it's not returning what Google would be.
Yeah, the numbers we've just recited about. I will send you these numbers after the pod so you can take these and pass them on to Sophia and just, you guys sit down, please implement this. And I would actually say right now, you're about to go into Black Friday, flip it. Because dial up Google. You got to be careful. Don't go too mad with Google because you'll throw the baby out the bathwater. What a pun that is for this episode. Yeah. But you don't want to...
Especially this time of year.
I'm quite proud of myself of that. But you don't want to... you don't want to go nuts and put your campaign back into learning. But there are some things you need to be doing. I think with Performance Max, you need to be going in and looking at adding in some additional campaigns, some additional angles. Just, don't upset your existing campaigns, but add to them, add some additional things just to dial up that account level spend.
Yeah, I agree.
And then rein in Meta. It just does. Yeah, the numbers, it's clear as day. Right. Okay. That took us off on a little bit of a detour. Now, what else was there? So, okay. Right, the other challenge that you had on here was about balancing the online with the offline stuff. What did you mean by that?
So we currently focused a lot of our stuff community-wise online, so through our email marketing, newsletters, social media. So it's trying to strike a balance between that and offline. So whether that's in-store events or activities to try and meet the audience face to face and get feedback on products and what they want to see in the future and what they like about the brand, what they don't like about the brand. So it's trying to create that connection with our customers offline, I guess.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, and just expand a little bit more on terms of some of the things you've done, tried. What do you feel's really worked, really hasn't worked? What does that sort of give me a little bit more?
So I would say what has worked is kind of hosting events for our community who follow the brand. So whether that be, an ambassador program where they come in and, to get their photos taken to be the new face of Cozy Crew Club, or if we have like a morning yoga session with mums or pregnant mums to be, and kind of they meet amongst the community themselves, talk about the brand, what they like about the brand, what they don't like about the brand, what they want to see in the future, etc. So it's been helpful to kind of build a community around the brand offline, but it's figuring out how to do it and when to do it on top of scaling and growing the brand online.
Okay, interesting. Okay. I think, what are you doing when it comes to, you've got your email, which is obviously generating your, what are you doing in as much as the email capture, both online and offline, to build that sort of community and just have that open line of communication constantly?
Yeah, so obviously online, we have our pop-ups on our website, when they sign up, and we have spin the wheel and competitions to kind of drive the sign-ups. But offline, that can be quite difficult. I feel like people are less likely to pass over their kind of like personal details or email address in person. So obviously the ambassador program helped because we were able to kind of meet the people face to face and say, if you want to be the face of Cozy Club, we'll have to take your information, etc. So we've been trying to utilize stuff like that to kind of build our database offline.
Right. Okay. And do you know yet the sort of average lifetime, not value, but the kind of how long? Because obviously, Litlands are only Litlands for a certain period of time. So do you see that in terms of the customer retention, the repeat rate and buying, whether it's online or offline? Do you see that? And do you know what that is? Have you got that customer for 2 years, shorter, longer?
I'd say on average it's about 2 years. Whether they join us from newborn or from age 2, I'd say it's around about a 2 year span. But we're looking to expand that with more size ranges. We currently only go up to an age 4 in our tracksuits and clothing, so we're looking to push that up to age 5 and 6 to kind of increase that lifetime value. And also that's why we're introducing kind of matching tracksuits and items for the mum, so then that can also expand the lifetime value, because currently they would only shop for the little one, who's newborn up until age 2, and then they would stop. So we're trying to increase that by expanding our age range for the children and kids, but also introducing women's stuff to kind of expand that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I love the community-based stuff. I think is great. I love that brands increasingly are doing that, wanting to make it very lifestyle, which is what you're doing. So I think you're doing a good job on that. I think for me, the stuff you're doing offline, I would just be making sure that you leverage online from a retargeting perspective to really get those offline things you're doing in front of your target audience. You can localize that. You can make it hyper specific and hyper, from a time factor perspective. So you could do some very clever things there. Are you doing any of that at the minute?
Yeah, we definitely are. We've got our first another event in store in Manchester, the first one up north next Sunday, which is exciting.
Okay, nice. And how long have you given yourself to sort of promote that and drum up interest and get people, sort of interested in it?
About 2 weeks. So we've sent out an email newsletter, and we're sharing it on social media. The baby store that we're also hosting in have been sharing it on their platform as well. So around about 2 weeks lead up. But I think we should definitely be giving more notice, I think, for sure.
You should, definitely. Yeah, because particularly if you're going to do anything from an ads perspective, from a retargeting perspective, I would be segmenting your data, your email list, your customers in terms of their locations and so on, how they interact with the brand, your sort of really loyal customers versus your most active and so on. I'd be segmenting that data. Are you using like a Klaviyo or something like that for your email?
We use Klaviyo, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd be using that to segment the data to identify those key sort of pockets. But to get the ads to give them any sort of traction, you're going to need to give it more than a couple of weeks. So I'd be, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, kind of give it that just to warm that up, and that's going to get more footfall to it. And then, then at the actual events, have calls to action or something that it drives them back online. It's difficult without knowing exactly what you're doing to give you specifics, but yeah, the idea that you've got in terms of wanting that online offline mix I think is right, but I think retargeting, whether it's on Meta or Google, is going to be a great way of keeping the brand top of mind and driving awareness of, if they're online, this is what's happening offline. If they're offline, you can then have, even physical little leaflets and stuff like that to just, here's what we're doing. We love a QR code. Like, we've done a whole bunch of stuff with we printed some business cards recently where we had a QR code on it with a call to action that went off to some specific content. Like stuff like that is a great way of getting them online. And then if you can add a little bit of personalization into it, like that really helps. So, and then you can send them to specific landing pages where there's a specific message, I hope you enjoyed such and such event. Here, now actually we're doing this next thing. And I think sequencing your events is what I'd be doing. I wouldn't be doing anything offline, community-based, where there wasn't essentially a call to action to get someone back online. And I would be probably leveraging QR codes and things like that to facilitate and encourage people to interact, when they get home, when they go back online.
Correct, yeah, to get them back onto the social media page or onto our website, for sure, yeah.
All of that. And then just make sure you are retargeting those folks. Have you got standalone retargeting campaigns on Google and Meta?
Yes, for both we do, yeah.
Okay, good. Make sure you do have standalone, because your Performance Max from a Google perspective will do some of it, but not enough. So make sure you have standalone retargeting, because you'll have far greater controls, and then Meta is just ripe for retargeting. So yeah, there's a few things there, but I think I'm going to go back to it. I think the big thing, I think what you've built is amazing. I love it. I think the big thing that you need to take away from this is you need to go and look at very, very closely at those budgets and those channels, and get Sophia on the case and get that stuff changed around. I'm going to send you a couple of notes that I've made on specific things I think you should look at, like the Performance Max things. Yeah. But yeah, look, I think unless you have any other questions, anything else you want to go through?
No, I think that's pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty clear. I think definitely to change around from the budget from Facebook to Google and really drill down on them numbers.
Yeah, you definitely do. But look, you're at a very exciting time in your growth, and now even from right now in terms of Black Friday and Christmas is going to be key. So flip those budgets around. Just avoid going back into learning phase for any of the campaigns, and you should be in really good shape, mate. And just keep up the good work, because I love it. I think it's great. I'd love to get you back on if you'd be up for it in like a year's time, and we'll just see where you are. See if you're like a £2 million or a £3 million business. I'd love to do that.
Definitely, and hopefully we'll be spending more on Google than Facebook.
I think you definitely need to do that. Absolutely. Well, look, thank you so much for being on, buddy. I really appreciate it. And keep in touch. We'll speak soon.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Cheers, Connor. All the best, mate. Take care.
Bye.
Wow. I really hope he listens to me.
Wow.
I really hope he listens to me.
Same.
Oh my God. That is, I was not expecting that episode to go that way. It's not every episode I go deep. I need to know the numbers.
Yeah.
Like to that level. Every sense of me, when he said that, I was like, something's off here. Something is off. That's a great business. That is so similar to another guest we've had on recently.
It is.
Where it's just fundamentally, it's like it's so easy when you do your marketing in-house. And anyone that watches every episode of our pod, by the time this one comes out, there will have been another one that's come out, you will be like, this is a carbon copy.
Yep.
And anyone that, if you watch our pod, you will see the recurring themes of what we end up telling brands. And the commonalities of that, because we've had it at least 2 or 3 times now, is they're doing the marketing in-house.
Yep.
Meta looks really good because you're getting lots of engagement. This must be working. This is great. Meta over-reports. Google over-reports. So you have to look. It's why I bang on and sound like a broken record about your reliance per channel, because that exercise we just did there is one of the most valuable things we have ever done on this podcast.
Yeah.
Because it's reverse engineer your numbers, and then we can see fundamentally there is a problem here, because what you think you are achieving is so far off what you're actually getting. This is, you need to now go and look at these more closely. And we've done that so many times before. And I mean, I do it as part of my daily job.
I was going to say, I'm glad you're doing it and not me, because wow.
Do you think I do that every day. Like that, for me, and for me, I just...
I'll stick to the creative.
Yeah. But that to me is just like... That's what I do, but more to the point, in this right now, what I really want Connor to, I'm gonna have to just phone him afterwards and just actually say to him, you have to do this.
Yeah.
You have to make these changes, because that is not working. His business, there's no way his business will be making money on a 1.5 return, and that's where the bulk of his his investment's going. So hopefully he'll take that and he can go and purchase it, and that will have a massively positive impact on his business, and that's the whole point of the pod. So yeah. Wow, there you go. I knew it was going to be a good episode. Didn't necessarily it's going to go that way, but he's got a great business. You need to go check it out. It's some beautiful stuff. If my little one was the same age, I would definitely be their next customer, because I love it. I think it's beautiful.
I think I might be their next customer.
You have got a little one in. I don't know. Maybe Connor might listen. Maybe if you give him some tips, he might send you a little something. There you go. There's a not so subtle hint from me, isn't there? But yeah, cozycrewclub.com. Check them out. Fantastic brand. Right, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you on the next one. Take care.